What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. Good morning, good morning, good morning, right? So, got some news that I want to talk about this morning, if y'all don't mind. So, George Floyd's sister has come out and said that she forgives Derek Chauvin, the officer who murdered her brother, right? She says she forgives Derek Chauvin openly to the public, let everybody know she forgives him. She also adds, but he never apologized. But she forgives him though. And y'all, I don't want to be denigrating to this sister at all. I really don't. I really, really don't. But black people in this fable of forgiveness, it has to stop. Okay? You know, in our community, we are told and taught, hey, if you forgive the person, it'll make your mind clearer, your heart clearer. It'll make everything so much better. You'll be alleviated from so much. Just forgive people for every transgression they make on you, against you. And I don't think that should be a thing, personally, especially in situations like this. Derek Chauvin had a knee on her brother's neck until he could not breathe. Heard the man calling for his mama, calling out, writhing in pain, and didn't care nothing about it. Didn't care nothing about it. And then she comes out here, they want to march her out to the public. She forgive him, she forgive him, she forgive him. Have y'all ever noticed in situations like this, when a racist individual kills a black person, unjustly unarmed black person, he gets killed in situations like this, they always make it a point to get the black family, some of the black family members, if not at least one, several of them, to come out and say, I forgive him, I forgive him, I forgive him. Every situation where a black person is murdered at the hands of a person, a non-black individual who is racist in a lot of ways, is always a, hold on, wait a minute, come on, let's march the black family out here to say they forgive him, they forgive him, they forgive him. And I'm looking like, man, it's so crazy. If the roles were reversed, people would not be forgiving George Floyd at all. At all. You know, but every time a black person is murdered unjustly, you know, and by law enforcement or something like that, it's always, it's a point to get the black people to say they forgive them, they forgive them, they forgive them. You know, this blanket of forgiveness needs to be put to rest. In situations like this, the blanket of forgiveness needs to be put to rest. And the forgiveness fable got to end. I can assure you, if the situation happened in reverse, if the situations were reversed, there would be no forgiveness at all. Furthermore, man, the only person who can forgive Derek Chauvin for sure 100% is truly the victim of the offense. Unfortunately, though, George Floyd is deceased. He's no longer with us, right? So that cannot be done. But also, man, coming out saying you forgive Derek Chauvin is not a sign of strength to me. No matter what that fable says, it shows you the stronger person. It's a sign of weakness and makes black people look docile, in my opinion. Right? Because to me, it gives leeway for these situations to occur again, over and over again, as they've been happening. Every time black people come out and say, I forgive you, it keep happening and keep happening. It also gives credence to this notion that George Floyd was nothing more than because you know they were calling him this, nothing more than a crackhead who was insignificant. Who was insignificant. He was a crackhead who was insignificant, so who cares what happened to him? There's a lot of racist individuals who are spewing that rhetoric. Who cares? He wasn't a productive member of society. He was nothing more than a drug head, a crackhead. Hey, it is what it is. There are a lot of people who are saying that. And it gives credence to that notion when his sister coming out, I forgive him, I forgive. Like, what are we doing? Right? What are we doing, man? Like, we're not acting like it's like, because when you forgive like that, there's a notion that the murder should be dismissed. And it gives credence to this notion that George Floyd was just another who's who, another drug head, whatever. There are people who are talking that. And that shit pissed me off more than you can imagine, you know? But I look at stuff like this and I'm like, man, black folks have to stop forgiving people for their heinous acts against our community. Stop it. You know, I always wonder, are black families paid off when they come out and say stuff like this? Are they being paid? Could it always seem like it? Like, is there a check involved in some way? Cause like, man, it kills me, man. I don't know. It boggles my mind. Forgiveness in situations like this gives your tormentor the okay to do it again, which it keeps happening over and over and over again. George Floyd wasn't killed in a freak accident or a car accident where nobody was drunk at all, right? He wasn't killed in a road accident where it was just a freak accident, so the car spun out of control, and he was killed in that type of situation. If that was the case, okay, forgiveness, cool. But in this situation where the person had a knee on your brother's neck, so he was like screaming out in pain, and then he just died, nah, dog. We ain't doing a forgiveness angle with that. We are not doing that, dog. We not doing that over here. We're not. And this is the thing too, man. Like Derek Chauvin ain't came out and said he like she said, he ain't apologized. He doesn't feel sorry about what he did at all. He hasn't apologized. He hasn't asked the black community, not the black community. I'm sorry, because it's not about us simply. It's more about his family, but he's a member of our community without question. And it's a bigger scope of things, what has been going on with law enforcement and black folks in particular. But in this situation, he hasn't asked for forgiveness from George Floyd's family at all. At all. He hasn't come out and asked for forgiveness at all. He does not care. Like, I love my people, but we got to cut it out with this trying to forgive people who don't care or think they did anything wrong. Derek Chauvin don't care. He don't care at all. In fact, he don't think he did anything wrong, and I know it because he's trying to appeal his sentence. He isn't taking that sentence on the chin and say, you know what? I committed something vile. I did something wrong. So I got to deal with those consequences. No, he's not doing that. He's trying to appeal this sentence because he's looking like, hey, look, I ain't do nothing wrong, y'all. Don't put me in this situation. I ain't do nothing. Get me up out of here. Don't lock me up. Get me up out of here immediately. And he's fighting and pushing back against it because he does not feel like in his heart he did nothing wrong. And he's not sorry for what he did because he has not come out asking the family to he hasn't come out giving an apology to the Floyd family at all. So what are we doing here? What are we doing? But again, black people are always expected to just, forgive when stuff like this happen. Oh, forgive him. I'm not forgiving you. Put a knee on my brother's neck. And again, people can say people that are entitled to feel how they feel. But in situations like this, we got to stop. We got to be on code with situations like this. The more you apologize for it, the more you're giving an okay for it to keep happening. Like I said countless times in this video. But I'm not forgiving somebody to get their knee on my brother's neck, killing my brother unjustly, and then telling the world, hey, he don't deserve to go to jail. Like, come on, man. Like, we're not doing that. Had his knee on his neck and was looking like, oh well. Hands in his pocket, not giving a damn, like carefree. Carefree, like it ain't nothing to him that this man is screaming out in pain. He could care less. And at the end of the day, you going home to your people, your family. Meanwhile, this brother he's gone. He could never be with his daughter again. Right? So, and they talk about the black community being fatherless and how fathers not around and all this and all that. Well, sir, you took that young woman's father, that young lady's father from her. Did he have 2 children or 1? I'm not sure. But if he has children, you took their father away from them. So society hollering, oh, black men ain't in their kids' life, they ain't being fathered. You just killed them. So what do we make of that? But I know Derek Chauvin, he don't care nothing about that. He's trying to get out of jail. And so this forgiveness blanket, situations like this, we gotta knock it off. Make our people look docile and weak. I'm sorry. Make our people look weak like crazy. We not doing that. We are not doing that, fam. They always make it a point though. Stuff like this happen. Hey, let's go see the black people. If they forgive them, let's see if they forgive them. Let's see if they find the greatness and goodness in their heart, the kindness all within their heart to say, listen, it's okay that you killed my brother. It's all right. I love you still. I'm not, man, I'm sorry. Fuck out of here. I'm just not doing it. And again, people might feel the way how they want to feel, but hey, Who gives a damn? I'm sorry. Who cares? Who cares? It's not even funny. I don't know why I just laughed, but who cares? Because man. That's not okay. That's not all right. And Officer Chauvin know it's not okay. He know that's not all right. A former officer. He know that's not okay. Derek Chauvin know it wasn't all right to do. But he did it anyway because he felt like he the police. And he could do whatever he want to do. He going to be covered and protected in this situation. The brother went out there raising hell, trying to come fight and snap on every police officer out there, trying to snap and fight and cause destruction out there. Like what? We've seen people who do worse than this. Non-black offenders. Cold, shoot up a church and all that. Ain't no knee being put on their neck where they getting killed. They not out here getting murdered like this. It's so nonchalantly. It's not happening to them. They thought George Floyd had some counterfeit money or something like that. And now they want to put a knee on the neck. Like, what are you doing? What is this? Yet a non-black person can go, a white individual, a non-black people can go commit mass murders and all of that, and then still have their lives, still have their life. They take them to go get some Burger King and all that in the meantime before they go take them to jail. Like, what are we doing? You see? So that forgiveness fable has to end, black folks. Machiavelli Mills TV, thank y'all for watching. Peace.